Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Logan, and welcome to Apex Level Leadership. Today is the last of a series of 7 videos that is connected with my ebook called 7 Joyful Steps to Overcoming Barriers in Your Life. And so today we're going to be talking about self-esteem. So I had a maybe, I don't know if it's atypical or typical um, experience with esteem as a child. So I was born with one arm, and that created um, all kinds of difficulties for me at school. First of all, I was stared at as soon as I went to pre-K. So I attended school longer than most other kids, and I was stared at, pointed at all day long, walking through the hallways. That was one thing that I had to deal with, and that was a bit unnerving. And then I had to deal with people poking fun of me, bullying me, beating me up because of my difference. So, right off the bat, my self-esteem did not even have a chance. I would literally go through a full cycle where I would go home, my mom or and my grandparents would either talk to me because I was crying, and they would tell me that I was okay. And then I would go back to school, and kids would poke fun of me and tell me that I wasn't okay. So my mind was just going back and forth, and it ended up with my self-esteem just tremendously low. And number one, I didn't know that I needed to make a decision about my self esteem. Like, I needed to actively do something about my self esteem. I couldn't depend on my parents. I couldn't depend on teachers. I couldn't depend on anyone but myself to actually do something about my self esteem. And so, as a kid, I didn't know it. I didn't know any better that I needed to actively work on that. I didn't know that until I got into middle school and high school, what I really needed to do to ensure that uh, my self esteem was okay. And even then, when I began to actively work on my self esteem, it was a battle. It was a battle. And if I'm honest with myself and you guys, I still struggle every now and then with self esteem. Now, I don't struggle like I used to. Uh, I had to literally dig myself out of a ditch. That's what it felt like. Like I was digging myself out of a ditch because I was just, this person that I faked it and really didn't make it. So, yeah, always had a smile on my face. I try to anyway. But yeah, I was hurting inside. And I don't know if many of you know what that feels like, but it feels awful. And so, yeah, one of the things that I began to do about my self-esteem is I began to change my thinking, and that included literally seeing my mind as a tape recorder. And when I saw my mind as a tape recorder, I had to go in there and basically snip out things that were just garbage, plain garbage. That's what it was. When you have stinking thinking, as my seventh grade counselor called it, that just basically it takes you for a ride. Um, so in your mind, that is, but your body may be paralyzed because of that thinking. Your body may go through these, you know, just trips When you're thinking negative, your body is literally releasing hormones, negative hormones that can literally make you sick. And so, um, the first thing I did was I saw my mind as a tape recorder, and I began to stop the tape. Every time I heard something negative in my mind, playing in my mind, I stopped the tape. But it caused, um, so I had to become more aware that these negative thoughts were actually playing in my mind to be able to stop the tape. And the only way I did that is I literally told my mind to be looking for negative thoughts and negative thought patterns. And I caught those suckers. I caught them and I put an end to them. And I did that by rewriting my mind, rewriting the things that were going on in my mind. And I began to rewrite them with positive things. I began to say them over and over again. I would write them and I would say them. And so those are some easy ways that you can begin rewriting your mind. And I really hope that helps. Um, Again, this is the last of a 7-part series of 7 joyful steps to overcoming barriers in your life. And so for me, just having those positive thoughts start to go in my head, like a tape recorder, was so much more freeing and joyful. And my body felt different, my mind felt different. And so that was an amazing breakthrough through just for those efforts that I put in. And so I want you to also have those efforts. My book is coming out tomorrow, so I would love for you to purchase my book and begin the healing process. If you find any of these videos um, is thought provoking for you, I would love to work with you and get you started on a new journey to healing and uh, just a better life. And so I want that for you, and um, I want that for anyone that you know that might be struggling in these areas as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Leah Logan with Apex Level Leadership.